With so much to take in, with Kotaro Ichikoshi and Spike Chunsoft's soon-to-be-released neo-noir adventure thriller, The Somnium Files, I've decided to give you all a massive exposition dump filled with everything to know about the game. You don't actually need to know most of this, but it may enhance your experience of the title once you decide to jump into it. I haven't seen enough people talking about so let me tell you why it's a unique gem. First and foremost, if you haven't watched the videos on the Lemniscate YouTube channel, you may want to. Really, those videos alone paint a good picture on why this game should be on people's radars. Okay, let's move on, shall we? The Somnium Files is an adventure game in the same vein as the director's last title, Zero Time Dilemma. A lot of Japanese visual novel developers have, of recent, been inspired by Western adventure games and have been using them as a base to expand upon the method of presentation. Clearly, with the director was inspired by these games when making this adventure. Unlike Zero Time Dilemma though, is not an ontological mystery, so there are no locked door mysteries. This is a story about a detective and his AI eyeball, Iba, who solve crimes together. However, instead of getting upset and throwing a table like detectives in crime shows when they can't get the info they need, Date and Iba are part of a group that simply drug them, hook them up to a large machine, and dive into their dreams. With all this pretense in mind, now let's focus on the game itself.
I need to give you commands that will unlock the mental locks, right?
Indeed. But it is difficult to predict exactly how an object will behave in Somnium. Think outside the box. Trying different actions will help solve the problem.
Now, what should I have you do?
Don't forget that I have a veto.
In The Somnium Files, our story begins with Date is brought in to investigate the murder of a woman at an abandoned theme park. Date is chosen because of his relationship to the victim, the mother of a 12-year-old kid he's been looking after for several years. Unfortunately, said kid is our main witness, and the trauma of seeing her mother's corpse has rendered her with psychological aphonia. Put simply, she's mute. Unable to question her properly, the Advanced Brain Investigation Squad, or ABIS, set her up for Date to sync with. Given how this all makes up the first couple of hours you'll spend in the game, it has a pretty excellent start. The first thing you notice is the godly soundtrack, and the first things you hear are on point. What's also on point is the point-and-click adventure setup. The HUD looks very stylistic and there's a really nice electronic vibe to it. Controls and context are given to you almost immediately in a you should know this already style, being a merge of comedy and practicality. The game is also fully voice acted. Voice acting of extremely high caliber across the board even. While playing, if there's something you can't remember, you could just take a gander at the menu, which has case files. Case files contain character profiles and definitions for various words and concepts that come up, in case you didn't remember what things like sock puppeting were. You'll also be able to access the flowchart, which allows you to jump to any experience point in the story. All of this is broken down wonderfully. Another unique feature in is how you can explore dreams in Somnium segments. All of these segments' mechanics are laid out within the first two Somnia. The first explains necessary details during Date's own dream, which means when you enter your first Somnium, you're up to Date. Date, not the main character. It's a brilliant setup. The puzzles within said Somnia are wildly fun, presented like mysterious drug trips, as logic is very inconsistent and there is a time limit. But don't be scared by the time limit. It's a great way to keep tension high, but the game gives you more than enough time to do everything you need, and if you have trouble, you can just restart. There's much more to The Somnium Files than meets the eye, and I hope what I've said so far has helped answer some of you with questions that you had in mind for this particular gem. The Somnium Files is a set, you bet, to release digitally on September 17th for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and PC via Steam. The physical release is set to release on September 24th. Stay tuned for our full review.
Please, Mr. Date, you can't leave me!
What?
I can't imagine life without you!
What are you doing?